The most explosive scandal in WNBA history is unfolding right before our eyes, and what we're about to reveal will shock you to your core. While millions of fans believed Caitlin Clark was struggling against opposing teams in the 2025 season, the devastating truth is far more sinister. The real enemy wasn't wearing a different jersey. They were sitting right next to her in the locker room, 5 players on her own team. The Indiana Fever have been systematically sabotaging the most electrifying player women's basketball has ever seen. And what makes this betrayal even more heartbreaking? Clark has no idea it's happening. Picture this. The most hyped rookie in WNBA history enters her second season carrying the weight of an entire league on her shoulders. After a record-shattering debut year, where she averaged 19.4 points per game and led the entire league in assists, expectations for Caitlin Clark in 2025 weren't just high. They were astronomical. Every arena sold out. Every game was must-see television. The target on her back wasn't just painted by opposing teams. It was laser-focused by everyone who wanted to see her fail. But Clark thrived under pressure before, right? So why is everything falling apart now? Here's where the story takes a dark turn that nobody saw coming. While Clark was out there giving everything she had, pouring her heart into every possession, 5 of her own teammates were quietly working against her. Not with malicious intent, at least not all of them, but through a combination of selfishness, complacency, and outright incompetence that's been strangling the life out of what should have been a championship run. The systematic destruction starts with player number 5, and this one will make your blood boil. Sydney Carlson, signed on February 5, 2025, was supposed to be the veteran presence this young team desperately needed. The plan seemed foolproof. Bring in a seasoned player to mentor the rising stars and provide steady leadership when the pressure mounted. Instead, what Indiana got was basketball's equivalent of a ghost. At 35 years old, Carlson is averaging a pathetic 2.5 points, 0.8 rebounds, and just 2 assists in barely 11 minutes per game across 28 games. Think about that for a second. In a league where every possession matters, where Clark is creating magic with the ball, Carlson is occupying roster space like a statue. She's invisible during crunch time, completely absent when the team needs veteran composure most. But here's what's really infuriating. Her slow, hesitant play style is like pouring concrete into a Ferrari's gas tank. Clark's entire game is built on lightning-quick ball movement, razor-sharp cuts, and players who can think and react at the speed of basketball. Carlson dribbles like she's moving through quicksand, makes passes so late they kill offensive momentum dead, and hesitates on wide-open shots like she's forgotten how to play the game. Every second she's on the court with Clark, she's actively sabotaging the very system that makes the superstar so deadly. And the most maddening part, younger, hungrier players are watching this travesty from the bench, knowing they could contribute so much more. But if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about player number 4. Brianna Turner's story isn't just disappointing, it's a complete betrayal of everything she was supposed to represent. This isn't some unknown player failing to live up to modest expectations. Turner was a former first-round draft pick, a player who built her reputation as a defensive force of nature. She was supposed to be the intimidating presence in the paint, the shot blocker who made opposing teams think twice about driving on Indiana. Instead, Turner has become basketball's most expensive paperweight. Her numbers are so bad they're almost impossible to believe. 0.4 points, 0.9 rebounds, and 0.2 assists per game, while shooting a catastrophic 20% from the field. In 14 games, she's played fewer than 60 total minutes. That's not a player contributing to a team. That's a player taking up space that could be used by someone who actually wants to compete. But the statistics only tell half the story. Watch Turner on the court, and you'll see something even more disturbing: complete disengagement. Her body language screams that she'd rather be anywhere else. She doesn't communicate on defense, doesn't set proper screens for Clark, and floats through possessions like she's sleepwalking. Every minute Turner is on the floor is a minute stolen from Clark's championship window, and everyone in that arena can feel it. Now we reach player number 3, and this betrayal cuts deeper because it comes from someone who should know better. Kelsey Mitchell has been Indiana's go-to scorer since 2018. She averaged over 18 points per game last season and is still putting up a respectable 16.6 this year. On paper, having an established scorer alongside Clark should be a dream scenario. In reality, it's become a nightmare of clashing egos and incompatible playing styles. Here's what's really happening. Mitchell is still playing like she's the team's primary option, even though Clark has clearly taken that role. She overdribbles, holds the ball too long, and relies on isolation plays that completely disrupt the beautiful, flowing offense Clark orchestrates. When Clark has the ball, magic happens. Players move with purpose, defenses scramble, and easy buckets appear. The moment Mitchell takes over, everything grinds to a halt. The spacing collapses, the rhythm dies, and opposing defenses breathe a sigh of relief. Smart coaches have already figured out the formula. Force Mitchell into difficult shots, let her slow down the pace, and watch Indiana's offense fall apart. It's basketball sabotage disguised as individual success. And there's an even more sinister element lurking beneath the surface. Mitchell wants maximum money in free agency. She's playing for her next contract, while Clark is playing for a championship. And those two motivations are completely incompatible. The defensive end is even worse. Mitchell can't guard quick opposing guards, which means Clark has to take on additional defensive responsibilities that wear her down and increase her injury risk. After Clark's groin strain in July, every extra bit of work she has to do is playing with fire. But Mitchell keeps forcing her into these impossible situations game after game. As we move to player number 2, the sabotage becomes even more systematic. Dantas was brought to Indiana in 2024 with a clear mission: provide floor spacing, add toughness in the paint, and grab crucial rebounds. The vision was perfect: a versatile forward who could stretch defenses when Clark drove to the basket and provide the interior presence needed to complement her perimeter brilliance. The reality has been a complete disaster. Dantas is shooting under 38% from the field, while averaging just 5.0 points and 2.4 rebounds per game. For a forward who's supposed to be a reliable finisher and floor spacer, those numbers aren't just disappointing, they're catastrophic. But the real damage goes deeper than statistics. Clark's genius lies in her ability to break down defenses and create open shots for teammates. When she drives and kicks the ball out, she needs players ready to fire immediately. Dantas hesitates. In that split second of indecision, defenses recover, momentum dies, and possessions are wasted. It's death by 1,000 cuts, with each hesitation stealing a little more potential from Clark's transcendent ability. The modern WNBA demands versatility from forwards. They need to switch on defense, close out on shooters, and protect the rim when needed. Dantas struggles with all three, creating defensive holes that Clark has to spend energy filling. She's not toxic in terms of personality, but her passive approach to the game is quietly poisoning everything the team is trying to build. But all of these betrayals pale in comparison to the most devastating sabotage of all. Natasha Howard, player number 1, represents the cruelest form of basketball betrayal. The player who should have been Clark's championship partner instead became her biggest obstacle. When Indiana signed Howard, it felt like destiny. A 3-time WNBA champion with all-star credentials and a reputation as an elite two-way player. On paper, she was the missing piece that would elevate Clark from individual brilliance to team success. The plan was simple. Howard would provide veteran leadership, reliable scoring, and defensive anchoring while working seamlessly with Aaliyah Boston to create an unstoppable frontcourt. Instead, Howard has become the embodiment of everything wrong with this roster. She's averaging 11.66 points and 6.8 rebounds, which might look decent until you see the horrifying truth. She's shooting under 41% from the field as an interior player. Think about that. A forward who operates near the basket, getting high percentage looks, and she can't even make 4 out of 10 shots. The missed bunnies at the rim have become a cruel, running joke. Putback attempts clang off iron. Short jumpers that should be automatic fall short. Every time Clark creates an opportunity for Howard through her brilliant playmaking, there's a sinking feeling that the shot just won't fall. It's psychological torture for a point guard who thrives on getting teammates easy baskets. But the offensive struggles are just the beginning of Howard's comprehensive failure. Defensively, she's undergone a complete transformation from asset to liability. At 32, the explosion is gone. The quick rotations that once made her a switchable defender now arrive a beat too late. Guards are targeting her in drop coverage, attacking her stiff footwork and limited lateral movement. She's gone from being a defensive anchor to being the weak link that opposing teams attack relentlessly. The leadership failure might be the most damaging aspect of all. Watch Howard during timeouts, shoulders slumped, disconnected from team discussions, showing none of the championship pedigree she was supposed to bring. Compare that to Clark, who never stops encouraging teammates, pointing out defensive breakdowns, and keeping energy high even when she's injured. The contrast is stark and devastating. Howard's slow decision-making in transition is particularly cruel to watch. Clark pushes the pace, looking for quick strike opportunities that can demoralize opponents. Instead of running the floor and being ready to finish, Howard lags behind, forcing Clark to reset the offense and giving defenses time to recover. Those half-second delays don't just waste possessions. They waste the precious moments when Clark's speed and vision can create easy baskets. The systemic damage these 5 players are causing goes beyond individual failures. They're clogging the spacing Clark needs to operate, slowing down the pace that makes her most effective, and forcing her to carry a scoring burden that no point guard should have to shoulder alone. Developing players like Chloe Bibby and Michaela Onyenwere watch from the bench, knowing they could provide the energy and effort this team desperately needs. Meanwhile, the players who actually understand their roles and embrace them are showing what's possible. Lexi Hall moves within the offensive flow, like a conductor's baton, defending with personal intensity and making impacts without needing touches. Sophie Cunningham provides the presence and passion Clark needs. Her ejection defending Clark on March 15th wasn't just an emotional moment. It was a statement. Michaela Onyenwere might be raw, but she's hitting double figures, crashing the boards, and sprinting the floor like every minute is a gift. The most heartbreaking part is what this means for Clark's future. She has cap space draft picks and the most marketable presence in women's basketball. Quality role players, deadly shooters, and unselfish veterans are watching from other teams, waiting for their chance to be part of something special in Indianapolis. But that window won't stay open forever. Championship opportunities in professional sports are rare and fleeting. The combination of Clark's transcendent talent, Boston's potential, and Indianapolis's resources creates a perfect storm for sustained success. But only if Indiana has the courage to make the hard decisions now. No more charity cases, no more prioritizing veteran presence over actual production. No more wasted roster spots on players who don't match Clark's championship intensity. Time is running out, and every game these 5 players continue to sabotage Clark's brilliance is another step closer to wasting the most special talent women's basketball has ever seen. The question isn't whether Indiana will make changes. It's whether they'll make them soon enough to save Caitlin Clark's championship window before it slams shut forever.